Ahoy mateys, welcome aboard. I have officially completed an entire term online from my home in Singapore. I know this is a baby step compared to so many students and employees around the world who have been either studying or working virtually for over a year now. If you are one of those people, I have so much respect for you. I found out that I wasn't returning to college quite late, so I had to quickly adapt to virtual learning and from a different time zone, which really wasn't easy in the beginning. I had horrible headaches the first whole week. My eyes felt like they were constantly being fried, and my body would ache from sitting all day. And obviously, all of this really impacted my productivity. Desperate for relief, I reached out to friends and family for tips, and I learned quite a few hacks for how to manage online learning and working better. Today, I want to share with you a few of my top tips for virtual learning or work, ranging from device settings, the apps that I regularly use now, as well as habits that I've tried to build over my past term. Remember to stay tuned till the very end of this video because I have a special bonus tip saved for the end. So without any further ado, let's get sailing. Tip number 1. Sticky notes with online meeting links. We all know that online study or work revolves around attending hundreds of online meetings every week. With all of these recurring meetings comes all of the meeting links that we need to keep a track of. I find it easy to have all of my meeting links in one place. I like to keep all of my supervision and practical links on a sticky note on my desktop. This way, it's readily accessible whenever I need it, which means I don't need to stressfully search through my email inbox for the link just before the meeting. Number 2. Working with larger or multiple screens. The transition to online learning meant having to see lectures and take notes on the same screen, or have my PDFs of textbooks and my note-taking app on the screen with multiple tabs open on the internet, which can be very straining for the eyes, especially since most laptop screens are quite small. I found having a larger desktop screen very convenient for watching lectures and having multiple textbook PDFs open on the larger screen while I can use my laptop for note-taking. Number 3. Minimizing your eye strain during screen time. Enabling the blue light filter after sunset on your devices and keeping the brightness of your screen low can help prevent your eyes from getting fried and can help you sleep better. Additional apps such as Flux can be very helpful, especially if you are a night owl or tend to work later in the evening or the night. Flux regulates the screen brightness and contrast depending on the lighting of your surroundings. I purchased blue light filter glasses a few months ago since I've been working till later in the night, and I do quite enjoy wearing it. Number 4. Screen-free breaks. Staring at a screen all day can be very mentally exhausting, and this can have a negative impact on our moods and productivity. I have found taking mini screen breaks to be very effective. I got into the routine of watching TV show episodes during my meal breaks, but I've been consciously trying to limit my screen time during meals. I sometimes enjoy listening to a short podcast, especially while I'm having my breakfast. Hi! If you like talking to your loved ones during your breaks, try going for a walk and voice calling them instead of video calling, at least for some calls. Schedule your meetups with loved ones outdoor and physically if possible. Getting that change of scenery and quality time with your loved ones can be a real mood booster. Number 5. Taking mini stretching breaks. Apart from the mental exhaustion, sitting all day can be very physically draining. As they say, sitting is the new smoking. Even if we can't find time to exercise daily, figuring out hacks to do little mini stretches during our work time can go a long way. The 20-20-20 rule is something that I have been trying to follow. The rule states that for every 20 minutes we spend staring at a screen, we need to look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. The duration of these mini breaks can be enough to do quick but effective stretches, many of which can be done right at our desks. There is this app called Timeout that I've been using for a couple years now, which gives out useful reminders for us to take these frequent but mini screen breaks. Something I personally really like to do is to keep a tall glass of water beside me at my desk. This one is 24 ounces. It's large enough to remind me to stay hydrated by taking regular sips, but it does require refilling from time to time. And I find these short but frequent walks to refill my glass quite effective. It keeps me hydrated and gives my legs a stretch, especially when I'm working for long hours at my desk. Another great option to avoid sitting for so long is to invest in a standing desk, especially if you know that you are going to be working or studying virtually in the long run. Standing desks can be great for your health, and my best friend can vouch for that. Speaking of desks, tip number 6 is setting up a study space. Try to build a habit of working only in study spaces. For me, my desk and my chair are my primary study space. If you have a library that you love to study in frequently, that's good. The idea is that essentially, if you work repeatedly in the same space, your mind begins to associate work with that physical space. For example, since my study space is my desk and my chair, I try and avoid sitting in other areas of my house, such as my sofa, my bed, my swing, or whatever, when I'm trying to work. Also, try not to do non-work related things in your study space. For example, coming back to my desk and my chair being my primary study space, even if I just want to check my phone on a study break, I try and get off my chair, go sit on my bed, and then I check my phone. Similarly, if I want to talk to a friend on a break, I try and sit on my sofa or my bed instead of in my study space while I talk to my friend. I also try and avoid bringing in meals into my room, as hard as that can be sometimes. Rather than nailing these rules every single time, it's more about just being aware of how repeating certain actions in certain spaces can strengthen and weaken specific pathways in our minds, and this can have a direct impact on our productivity in these spaces. It's also important to always sit in a well ventilated and a brightly lit room and ensure that your table and your chair are allowing you to have a good upright posture while you work. You can go the extra step in lighting a candle or diffusing some oils, which will make it more fresh, which will in turn make you feel more concentrated and calm while you work. Tip number 7 is making a work timetable. I highly recommend using cloud calendars such as the Apple or the Google Calendar to help you keep track of your weekly commitments. I love using the Apple Calendar, which syncs across my phone and my laptop. I use color coding for my different commitments. I literally put everything on my calendar, even if it's remembering to call in a friend to check in with them or hanging out with someone. Just putting all these things on my calendar ensures and reminds me to make time for all the things that matter to me. The feature of weekly or fortnightly repeats is also something that I find very useful, especially for my regular lectures, practicals, and supervisions. Your university calendar can also be synced with your cloud calendar in most cases, so make sure to contact your university IT team to check regarding that. Number 8. Joining online communities. Some social media groups can help in keeping you accountable, motivated, and can remind you that you're not going through certain things alone. Joining these online groups has made me feel a sense of community, especially when I can relate exactly to what someone else has posted on some of these groups. Personally speaking, engaging with peers through these online study communities to set up discussion sessions or study sessions has been so fruitful. So many times I've been relieved to see someone rant about a lecture or assignment on the group that I was struggling with as well. Not only can it be very productive compared to struggling alone, but it's also a great way to meet new people, especially when we university freshers of 2020 have been so starved of social interaction. Number 9. Eliminate distractions and try and decrease multitasking. Since most of our work is on our devices these days, it can be hard to tune out of non-work related devices, tabs, or apps while we work. But fear not, there are many apps that can help us in eliminating these distractions. I personally like to turn off the Wi-Fi on my phone while I work, and I also don't like keeping the WhatsApp app on my laptop because I feel like it just distracts me. An alternative to deleting these apps from your devices could be to just turn off the notifications for these apps, especially when you're working. With everything accessible on the laptop, phone, or tablet that we're working on, it's so easy to do 10 things at once. But research shows that multitasking is not so productive, as counterintuitive as that might sound. Multitaskers have been shown to have more trouble with tuning out of distractions than people who work at one task at a time. Mobile apps such as Flora or Forest can help keep you accountable for staying off your phone while you're working. I've heard many people say that they love to work together with their friends using these apps. Desktop apps such as Cold Turkey or Freedom can keep you away from distracting websites. As we all might have noticed, our attention spans during online work or learning has decreased so dramatically. So, avoiding multitasking can also help with that. The penultimate tip I have for you is tip number 10, which is that it's a great time to become tech savvy. As much as a lot of us might be averse to technology, there is truly no better time than now to turn all of our technological frustrations into opportunities for personal growth. Simple things like learning to keep your files arranged neatly on your desktop, using note taking apps like Evernote or OneNote, learning how to create and schedule online meetings, learning to touch type, and how to scan documents and diagrams for uploading or submitting somewhere online can go a really long way in helping us cope with all of these changes. Finally, I just want to say that online learning can be physically and mentally taxing, and some of us might take longer than others to adapt to it. So try and focus on sustainability rather than burn out productivity. So perhaps it's time for us to drop our productivity obsession and focus on keeping well both physically and mentally, which will in the long run make us more productive. So those are my tips for you today. I found many of these tips very useful, and I personally didn't know about a lot of the things I said today myself before I contacted friends and family, so I thought it would be worth sharing it with all of you. I hope at least some of these tips today helped you to deal better with your online learning or work. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to subscribe down below, leave a like, leave a comment. I love engaging with all of you in the comments below. And please do share this with whomever you know is perhaps struggling with online learning or work. And now, time for the bonus tip. Maximizing the utility of online meetings. During live meetings, it's very easy to zone out or multitask when your video is off. To replicate a classroom, lecture theater, or a workplace setting, I have found that keeping my video always on during these live meetings helps me focus better and retain more of the content that's being presented in the online meeting. I feel like it keeps me more accountable to be more presentable, whether it be physically or mentally attentive during the meeting. Another tip that I read in an article recently that I have begun implementing is to turn off self-view on these online meetings. Apparently, constantly seeing ourselves in real time can be very overwhelming and fatiguing for our minds. If we think about it, we are not constantly looking at ourselves talk when we are talking to someone else in real life, right? And we all know that we look at ourselves more than we look at others during meetings. So turning off the self-view can not only make your mind feel more relaxed, but can also help you focus better. And that's it. Bye! I'll see you soon.